The alarm blares, a harsh intrusion into the lingering darkness. You hit snooze, again, pulling the duvet higher, burrowing deeper into the warmth, wishing you could simply disappear until spring. Outside, the world is a canvas of muted grays and browns, the sky a heavy blanket pressing down. The vibrant colors of summer feel like a distant dream, replaced by a dull ache that settles in your bones, in your spirit. Getting out of bed feels like lifting an insurmountable weight. Showering, dressing, facing the day, each small task is an Everest. And as a person of faith, a whisper of guilt often accompanies these feelings. Shouldn't I be more joyful? Is this a sign of weak faith? Am I fighting a spiritual battle I'm losing? This feeling, this profound dip in energy and mood that arrives with the shorter, darker days, has a name: Seasonal Affective Disorder, or SAD. It's a real and often debilitating condition, yet for many Christians, it presents a unique tension. We are taught to find our joy in the Lord, to cast our anxieties upon Him, to believe in His unfailing light. So, when the literal light of the sun seems to abandon us and our hearts feel heavy and disconnected, we often wonder, is this a spiritual failing? Is it a battle against spiritual darkness to be fought with prayer and scripture alone? And if so, where does medical wisdom, like light therapy, fit into a life of faith? Let's lean into this space of questioning with gentleness and understanding. First, it's vital to acknowledge that suffering, including emotional and mental distress, is a part of the human experience, even for those deeply rooted in faith. The Bible is replete with examples of individuals wrestling with profound despair. Consider Elijah, after a mighty victory, fleeing into the wilderness, asking God to take his life. Think of David, whose psalms often oscillate between fervent praise and deep lament, crying out from the depths of his soul. Job, Jeremiah, even Jesus in Gethsemane. These are not figures whose faith was lacking, but individuals who experienced the full spectrum of human sorrow and anguish. Their experiences remind us that feeling low, even clinically depressed, does not automatically equate to a spiritual deficit. Modern medical understanding tells us that SAD is linked to changes in the brain's chemistry, specifically involving serotonin and melatonin, influenced by the decrease in natural light exposure during autumn and winter. Our bodies are incredibly complex, physical creations, and just as we might get a cold or break a bone, our brain chemistry can be affected by environmental factors. When we recognize this, it opens the door to understanding that our well-being is holistic, encompassing spirit, soul, and body. So, when we consider a treatment like light therapy, which involves exposure to a special lamp that mimics natural outdoor light, the question shifts from, is this a spiritual battle instead of medical treatment, to how can spiritual strength and medical wisdom work together? Imagine, if you will, the early church. If someone broke their leg, would they only pray for healing and refuse a splint? Or would they pray for healing and accept the wisdom of those who could set the bone, recognizing that God's healing often works through human hands and the wisdom He has given us? Light therapy for SAD functions in a similar way. It's a tool, a physical intervention that addresses a physical symptom rooted in biological processes. It helps regulate our body's natural clock and chemistry, which in turn can profoundly impact our mood and energy levels. Is it appropriate for Christians? If we believe that God is the ultimate source of all wisdom, then we can also believe that the medical knowledge and treatments developed by scientists and doctors are part of the common grace He extends to humanity. To reject a proven medical treatment solely on the grounds of it being unspiritual can sometimes be a misunderstanding of how God works in our world. Integrating physical treatment with spiritual support is not only possible, but often the most effective path to wholeness. Continuing in prayer, immersing ourselves in Scripture, seeking fellowship with other believers, and practicing gratitude, these spiritual disciplines remain vitally important. They nourish our souls, strengthen our faith, and connect us to the ultimate source of hope and peace. But these practices can be significantly enhanced when our physical bodies and minds are also operating at their best. It's often easier to focus on prayer when the cloud of overwhelming fatigue and sadness has lifted a little. It's easier to see God's goodness when the chemical imbalance that causes relentless negativity has been gently nudged back towards equilibrium. Choosing light therapy or any other appropriate medical intervention for SAD is not a lack of faith. It can be an act of responsible stewardship over the body God has entrusted to us. It acknowledges that God cares for our entire being, our spirit, our mind, and our body. It demonstrates a wisdom that seeks to utilize all the resources available to us, both divine and human, to live a life that honors Him. It's about recognizing that sometimes God's healing touch comes through sunlight, through the wisdom He's given to researchers, and through the intentional steps we take to care for ourselves. So, if you find yourself struggling as the days grow shorter, please know you are not alone, and your faith is not diminished by your struggle. Consider all the avenues of support available to you. Seek wise counsel, both spiritual and medical. Explore options like light therapy, knowing that integrating physical treatment with your spiritual walk is a holistic approach to well-being that truly embraces the beautiful complexity of being human, made in God's image. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this. Have you or someone you know navigated SAD as a Christian? How have you found balance between spiritual support and medical treatment? Share your insights in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more thoughtful discussions on faith and life. May God's peace and light be with you in every season.